Okay, here we are back again with more Dragon Age Inquisition. And as you can see, I have a new outfit going on here. It's pretty nice. I crafted it I found a new schematic. So I was able to craft myself new armor. It's pretty nice looking. I really like the look of this one. I like the waistband thing with the tie on it. It's fun. And I like all the little details on there. I'm not even sure what they are. I'm pretty sure that's supposed to be a spell book. I know there's a dagger tucked into the back of her belt and things like that. So I think that's really cool. All the little details they put onto the into the armors. Otherwise, I think, we're back in Haven, obviously. So, I think it's time to...
Make her hear my cry.
Right
Seek
now,
me by
we
your
just need
side
to be
again.
careful not to do
Make
anything
me one
rash.
within your glory.
The Chantry might
And let
yet
the world
forgive us.
once more see your
Forgive
face.
her? We have the Herald of Andraste. She was sent by the Maker himself.
Some people have trouble believing Andraste would send a mage to do her work.
Why? Magic serves man. The Herald serves us.
Not everyone saw the vision of Andraste. It's just a tricky situation.
O Creator, see me near.
Yeah, definitely some tension there about the fact that I'm a mage, which I always enjoy a lot, and there seems to be a bit of a crowd gathered outside the Chantry, so we should probably check that out.
Your kind killed the most holy.
Oh dear.
Lies. Your kind let her die. Shut your mouth, mage!
Enough!
Knight Captain.
That is not my title. We are not Templars any longer. We are all part of the Inquisition.
And what does that mean exactly?
Back already, Chancellor.
Ah.
Haven't you done enough?
I'm curious, Commander, as to how your Inquisition and its Herald will restore order as you've promised.
Of course you are. Back to your duties, all of you.
Well, that was some nice crowd dispersal. They went away pretty quickly. Hi, Cullen. What's up, buddy?
Mages and Templars were already at war. Now they're blaming each other for the Divine's death.
Which is why we require a proper authority to guide them back to order.
Who? You? Random clerics who weren't important enough to be at the conclave?
The Rebel Inquisition and its so-called Herald of Andraste? I think not.
Yeah, we're not so terrible.
I don't know. The Inquisition seems about as functional as any young family.
How many families are on the verge of splitting into open warfare with themselves?
Probably a lot.
Yes, because that would never happen to the Chantry.
Centuries of tradition will guide us. We are not the upstart, eager to turn over every apple cart.
Right. So, yeah, Cullen, why exactly is he still here?
Remind me why you're allowing the Chancellor to stay.
Clearly, your Templar knows where to draw the line.
My Templar.
He's toothless. There's no point turning him into a martyr simply because he runs at the mouth. The Chancellor's a good indicator of what to expect in Val Royeaux, however.
Oh, good. That's encouraging. So, I don't know why she would ask this. She is a mage who was presumably in the middle of the Mage-Templar War, but let's ask anyway.
How widespread is the violence between mages and Templars?
Impossible to say.
Your organization flouting the Chantry's authority will not help matters.
With the Conclave destroyed, I imagine the war between mages and Templars is renewed with interest.
Yeah, but who did kill the Divine?
The mages and Templars are fighting, even though we don't know what really happened at the Temple of Sacred Ashes.
Exactly why all this should be left to a new divine. If you are innocent, the Chantry will establish it as so.
Or we'll be happy to use someone as a scapegoat.
You think nobody cares about the truth? We all grieve Justinia's loss.
But you won't grieve if the Herald of Andraste is conveniently swept under a carpet.
Right. Well, yeah, good luck with that, Cullen. Got your hands
Don't
full.
let anyone riot while we're gone.
The walls will be standing when you return, I hope.
Hopefully the walls will withstand a riot. I don't know. You sure are you okay?
I will keep the peace while you and the others appeal to the Chantry in Val Royeaux.
Better ready yourself for the blame you will be rightly assigned.
Yay. Okay. Sure, guys. I do need to, like, you know, come in here and check things out a little bit. We also have Mother Giselle here now, because we...
Researcher Minave wishes to verify that the infections have decreased in number.
Yes. Thank you for your help. Tell me, are you happy this way? With everything you feel and dream
With
put
passion
away?
and breath
I no
does the
longer talk to
darkness
dragons.
creep. It is
I
the
see.
whisper in the
May
night,
girl go with
the
you.
lie upon your
No longer talk to dragons. Oh, boy. Let's check our war table, because I feel like that's gonna be something... We have at least one more new operation to do for Master Dennett. Oh, right, I have a perk now. That's great. I love it. So here's our perks. We have a bunch.
What have your ears heard, Leliana? Anything new we don't already know about?
No, nothing.
Oh, that's unfortunate. But yeah, so basically every time you level up in influence points, you get an Inquisition perk, which lets you take something out of one of these categories. So this is forces, secrets, connections, and just Inquisition general. There's a lot of useful perks to get. That's a pretty good one to get. Basically, I'm going to start with taking the ones that give me more dialogue options. So each one of these guys has one that gives you more, has a perk that gives you more dialogue options. So this one is Underworld Knowledge, which is a detailed study of underworld customs and their brutal but practical applications. So it opens up new dialogue options related to criminal activities. It also gives you an XP boost for codex for every codex entry you unlock. This is one of the reasons why I have the reduced XP trial on, because every single one of these perks that gives you additional dialogue options also gives you more XP for codex entries, and I don't you end up with so much XP for every codex entry you get that it becomes kind of absurd if you don't cut your XP in half. So I'm going to go ahead and I'll probably take Underworld Knowledge first. Arcane Knowledge is magic. I actually do already get a few extra dialogue options because I'm a mage, and Nadia therefore already has some magical knowledge. So she already is going to get some extra dialogue options just because of her class. But this will open up, Arcane Knowledge opens up even more of those. And of course, eventually I'll need to get Deft Hands Find Tools in order to open up some of the doors, some of the locked doors that we'll be finding scattered around the world. But it will require 4 points needed in the secrets category to unlock. But I'll definitely be getting there at some point. Nobility Knowledge gives more dialogue options related to nobles and politics. And I think... yeah, and then this one is History Knowledge, so this is extra dialogue options about history and Thedosian history and the Chantry. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to start with the Underworld Knowledge perk. That's fine. And then let's look at our completed tasks here. The Terran of Highever. Commander Cullen, your honor guard was a welcome sight at the Divine's Vigil. As a measure of thanks, I am sending Ferelden arms and equipment for your troops. Sincerely, Terran Fergus Kuzland. So we got a long sword for that, so that's nice. Liliana got some gold for us. That's also very nice. Let's see, what did we get over here in Cyril? Our emissary has been shown a warm welcome to Cyril. He will remain for now as an advisor to the Marquis, observing the town. So we got a little bit of money for that, and hopefully we'll get a follow-up mission. Oh, right. So these are a couple of mounts. Now that I've unlocked mounts, again, these are like some pre-order bonus mounts that I got way back in the day when this game first came out. So this is the Flames of the Inquisition Charger. We have garnered the attention of the finest armorers in the land, and they would not see our message conveyed unadorned. They offer a mount that reflects the flames of the Inquisition. It is, by all accounts, magnificent. A black letter note follows. We would send our best, and you will know it when you see it. It is much at home in parade as on the battlefield. Let all who stand against you see that they stand against a force, a cause. Our skill is yours, those of the hammer. Alright, so this doesn't take any time, and it doesn't require anything, so it really doesn't matter who does it. Let's do this. The armored mount has arrived, and it is every bit as magnificent as was promised, so that's the mount. And I can view it at my stable at any time. The Red Heart. Such is the reach of the threat that the Inquisition received offers from all corners of Thedas. From a distant clan of Dalish comes a surprise, a letter in flowing script. Perhaps you are not as we and do not share what we believe, but this threat is common to us all, for the wounded sky belongs to everyone. If nothing else, we would have you sure of foot in your journey toward victory. Mas enesalin, lasa ravas and evanura. So let's get this one. The Red Heart has arrived, and it can only be described as inspirational. Alright. Great. What else have we got? Right. Ah, yes, the Bog Unicorn. We have received an offer of assistance. I am unnerved, but not opposed. It is not the first strange promise we have received, and likely will not be the last. An elegantly written note follows. The Inquisition has need, and we would provide. We have in our possession a mount of noble spirit, fallen in battle against rage, returned to life by the boundless urge to run and serve a worthy cause and noble master. Prove what your followers already believe, that your reach is beyond this realm, that even the forces of the Fade are your ally, that death is no barrier to victory, the collective. Alright.
Let's see what we
The
have.
creature has arrived. It is just as unnerving as expected. Yeah, the Bog Unicorn is something else. You kind of have to see it to believe it. I'm not going to unlock the Black Emporium, actually, just yet. But I am going to do the Build Watchtowers mission. So, the refugees in the hinterlands face threats from bandits, demons, apostate mages, and Templar deserters. Building watchtowers in the area will help Inquisition forces ensure the safety of refugees and farmers. The appropriate building sites have already been marked. So let's see. Josephine says, there are nobles near Redcliffe who will gladly help the Inquisition if we make them an offer. Cullen suggests my soldiers will have those towers up in short order. I like just having the soldiers do it. I see no reason why we can't just have our guys do it, especially since it's even a little bit quicker than dealing with the nobles. So let's just go for it. And since I don't have anything else to do, I'll just have Josephine collect some money for the sake of getting some money. I have some more regions that I can unlock at this point now. I could go immediately to Val Royeaux. I am not, however, going to do that just yet. I am, in fact, going to wander around and talk to a couple people again. We're going to do at least one episode of just conversations again before I go to Val Royeaux. And since we've got Mother Giselle right here, I'm going to go ahead and talk to her because she has some interesting things to say, I think.
Greetings, Herald of Andraste. How fares your quest to seal the breach?
Damned if I know.
Well, you know how these things go. At least, I hope someone does.
You laugh to bring a little light into the darkness.
She tries, yes.
And I'm glad to see it. Too many see laughter as antithetical to the chant of light. They imagine Andraste as a grim warrior all her life, forgetting that she loved and was loved in return. I hope she found time for laughter during her trials, as I hope you do.
Yeah, I think that comparison scares her a little bit. I don't know. Again, I don't know that she would want to, like, be I don't know that she's super certain one way or the other that she is or is not the Herald of Andraste. I think she finds it confusing and unnerving and a little bit frightening that people are putting that title on her. I don't think she is necessarily, like... it's one of those things where she probably feels like it would be sort of the height of hubris at this point to claim any kind of certainty about it one way or the other. So I think she's not. She's kind of avoiding that. But yeah, I think it does terrify her a little bit, though, the comparison.
You keep talking as though I'm the equal of Andraste. Do you know how unnerving that is?
I can only imagine. But we are all given to our purpose under the Maker. A sword does not ask to be forged.
Well, no, but...
And frankly, if such a comparison gives you pause, I do not see that as a bad thing.
Yeah.
In any case, I pray this Inquisition proves less brutal than its predecessor.
Okay, so... Yeah, I'd like some Inquisition history, actually. Let's talk about the previous Inquisition, because I feel like Nadia probably doesn't know a whole lot about it. I don't think it's... The previous Inquisition, like, I don't think there's a whole lot of knowledge floating around about the previous Inquisition, so let's discuss this.
Can you tell me about the original Inquisition?
The original Inquisition was formed after the First Blight, well before the Chantry as we know it. The Inquisitors were hunters, zealots, who tracked and killed cultists and dangerous mages. As Andraste rose to power, the Inquisition came into her service. Instead of hunting those who would do harm, the Inquisitors spread the chant of light by force.
So we're named after that?
No wonder everyone is so nervous around us. Who chose that name?
Divine Justinia herself. I understand that this was not a popular decision. In any case, once the chant of light had spread far and wide, there was less need for zealots. The Inquisitors became the seekers of truth, and eventually the Templars.
Why bring us back?
This is a dark chapter of history for the Divine to revisit.
Do you know what impresses me most about the original Inquisition? They fought horrific battles, killed and died for their cause, and when it was time, they put their swords away. Perhaps the name was Divine Justinia's message, that when the Inquisition is needed, it will strike without mercy. But when its work is done, it will put its sword away.
That's, an interesting thought. The idea that maybe this is temporary, that maybe when Divine Justinia sort of authorized its creation, it was intended to be temporary. A very interesting thought. So let's talk about the Chantry, I guess. Sure. Let's Nadia. Let's have a theological debate, Giselle. Let's have a theological debate.
I don't believe I've had the chance to speak candidly with the revered mother. Can you tell me about the Chantry?
I presume you mean deeper questions about the organization itself.
Yes.
Even in the circle at Ostwick, you should have been taught the basics.
Yes, she was. And from a noble family who's... Yeah, okay. So right, how do you view magic?
What is your stance on magic?
Andraste put it simply. Magic must serve man, not rule over him. However, those words must be put into the proper historical context. Andraste led a rebellion against the Tevinter Imperium, whose magisters controlled most of the world at the time. Even then, she never called for all mages to be put to death. She believed in peaceful coexistence.
Yeah, I would say the Chantry as a whole is a little more stringent than that.
I don't recall the Chantry being as tolerant of magic as you describe.
No. The Chantry is an imperfect vessel, pulled in every direction by those who would steer its course. Yet the Templars rebelled precisely because Divine Justinia was not restrictive enough.
True.
Perhaps the Inquisition will find a better way.
That would be Nadia's preference, yes. So why only human women?
Why does the Chantry allow only human women to become priestesses?
The official doctrine is that elves and dwarves have turned further from the Maker than humanity. And as for men, the chant holds that they are more vulnerable to anger or passion. But in truth. It is simply political.
Mm-hmm.
Added after Andraste's death, like too many of our beliefs.
So why don't you fight that if you believe so strongly about it?
If you don't believe these restrictions are what Andraste wanted, why haven't you tried to change them?
Has the current state of the world not taught you the folly of fighting too many battles at once?
Okay, that's
I
fair.
chose to use what power I had to help peasants forgotten by the nobles of Orlais. I believed there would be time to address their inequality under the Chantry once we had saved them from starving.
Alright, so, sure, you prioritize, I get it. What about exalted marches?
There were calls for an exalted march to put down the Mage Rebellion. What was your opinion?
It was ignorant gossip. An exalted march only succeeds when it carries the will of the people. Even then, it cannot be undertaken lightly. People are too easily frightened. We cannot destroy everything they fear. An exalted march is justified only against a true threat to this whole world. It is an offense to the Maker to use it as a political bludgeon, or as a means of spreading the chant of light.
Okay, so what about the March of the Dales?
What about the exalted march that conquered the elves?
That is a hotly debated matter in some circles of the
That's
Chantry.
putting it mildly.
The elves had conquered Montsemard and threatened Val Royeaux itself. They were not helpless victims. But even then, Orlais was the only nation to provide troops. It was hardly an exalted march of all the faithful. The Maker wishes his world to spread by example, not by war. We win no converts with blood.
Alrighty.
Farewell, revered mother.
Farewell.
Yeah, that's an interesting... And obviously the elves have quite a different perspective on the Exalted March of the Dales.
Greetings, Herald of Andraste.
Yes, hi. Who will be the next divine? Let's...
Do you know who the Grand Clerics will choose as the next divine?
It is a difficult decision. All the obvious candidates perished with Divine Justinia at the Conclave. The Grand Clerics are terrified of the Inquisition. They will not decide soon, and I fear they will not decide wisely. Whoever is chosen needs the Inquisition's support. No one else seems likely to seal the breach.
So, basically what you're saying is, I might be able to influence who becomes the next divine. How are the people?
How are the people doing after what happened at the Conclave?
They are scared, of course. Many have lost homes or loved ones. I doubt many will sleep well until you have sealed the breach.
Indeed.
I have offered what help I can. The rest is for the Inquisition. What more do you wish to know?
What help are you offering?
What are you doing to help these people?
My sisters and I have been tending to the injured as best we are able. Some refugees come with food, while others arrive empty-handed. I have helped ensure that all have enough to eat. Beyond that, many simply wish the familiar comfort of the Chant of Light. It is little enough work to offer some comfort to those in pain.
Okay, how are people at Haven?
How are the villagers in Haven doing?
They are terrified. Many of them came here because the war between the Mages and the Templars destroyed their homes. In their minds, the death of a divine has destroyed any chance of peace. To that, add the breach. Farmers have fled their fields. If we do not restore order, half of Thedas may starve.
And how are people elsewhere?
Do you have information on people elsewhere?
The refugees in the hinterlands are desperate. Without help, starvation or war will claim many lives. Villagers in Crestwood are besieged by their own dead.
Ooh,
They have sent word begging for assistance.
that sounds bad.
People are vanishing in the hills of Emprise de Lyon. It may be demons or something worse, but they are terrified.
That also sounds bad.
More than that I cannot say. It is a chaotic time for all in Orlais and Ferelden.
Alrighty.
Farewell, revered mother.
Until next time.
Indeed, and next time is right now.
You return.
Can I help with anything?
Is there anything I can do to help you or your people?
My healers would benefit from more supplies. We have run short of even common goods with so many wounded. If you could deliver this list and the items on it to Quartermaster Thren, she could get us what we need. It may not seem like much, but it would enable my healers to save many lives.
Okay, thank you.
Farewell, revered mother.
Farewell.
Oh, I need Blood Lotus. Okay. I can collect some Blood Lotus next time I'm around the hinterlands. Let's see what...
Ah, Lady Trevelyan. May I have a moment?
Oh, yes, of course, Josephine. What do you need?
Yes, Ambassador?
I'd like to discuss your parents.
Oh, my parents. Yeah, that was quick. Curious about the Trevelyans, are you?
You must want to know about the 7th most illustrious family in all Ostwick. Or is it 8th?
Whatever the rank, it would be helpful to claim your kinsmen as friends.
Probably.
What are your thoughts? Should we approach your family for their formal support of the Inquisition?
An interesting question. And a good way to let you sort of think about how your character might feel about her family. I feel like she would probably, I don't know that she's, I don't think she's necessarily not in their good graces. I think she's all right, given that she's a mage, and presumably a part of the rebellion. I don't know if this is necessarily what she would say either, though, or even this. I don't think she's, sad that they are into politics. So, I feel like this is probably the best way to go. I think they are. I feel like the Trevelyans are a pretty religious family, and so I feel like she's maybe I don't know that she's again. I don't know that they necessarily they trust me is necessarily what she would say. She's probably got a sort of distant but polite relationship with her parents is what I would imagine. They certainly, they didn't disown her or anything when she went to the circle, per se. They didn't cut ties necessarily, I don't think. But I think she does sort of maintain a bit of a distance between herself and her parents. If only because they are so religious and they do have such strong connections to the Chantry, and when the tensions between the Mages and Templars reached a boiling point, she didn't want any of her relatives to end up caught in the middle of it. So that might make this a little bit more of a viable answer as well. But I think she thinks that it might be a good idea to go ahead and bring them into the fold, so to speak. So yeah, let's say yes, they're very religious.
My parents are on a first-name basis with most priests in Ostwick, and I have a dozen cousins in the Chantry. When they hear I've been touched by Andraste, you'll have to stop them from giving you money.
I'll take that as a yes. Valroyo has noted your lineage. It gives the Inquisition some legitimacy, although not so much as we'd hoped.
Yeah, probably.
Why not?
You are from Ostwick. Orlesian nobles consider the free marches somewhat quaint.
Uh-huh. They're not, but yeah, so they're not scared I'm a mage?
Even though I'm a mage, that doesn't give them pause.
You're not an unfamiliar sight. Mages from noble families are given more leeway.
They are,
Besides,
yes.
Ostwick Circle had a reputation for being rather sedate.
Yeah, and this is another nice way to go, because, again, this gives me a chance to sort of think about how Nadia felt about the circle at Ostwick, which she lived in for, a long number of years. Did she enjoy the quiet? Did she go home once in a while? Does she miss her friends? Was it just dull as crap? Or did it feel like a prison? I don't necessarily think it felt like a prison. Again, even as Josephine just said, mages from noble families are often given a lot more leeway. And she probably had a lot more freedom than a mage who, for instance, used to be was an elf who grew up in an alienage, right? She's from a noble family with a lot of influence and had a lot of pull with the Chantry, so she probably had So she probably had, opportunities to go home now and then. She probably wasn't completely cut off from the social life of her peers. But yeah, I think she kind of does miss her friends, though. I think missing her friends is something she might want to say here.
All my friends were in the circle. I miss some of them terribly.
I understand. I suppose the Templars weren't much company.
And now we can talk about our views on the Templars. I could claim that she fancied one of the Templars. I don't know that she did, but I don't think she minded them. I don't think they bothered her all that much. Yeah, she can. So again, like, her family had enough pull that it was possible that the Templars left her alone just because her family was rich and powerful, and messing with her was not, a good idea politically. But I don't think she minded the Templars all that much. It's possible she was friends with some of them. I don't know that she necessarily fancied any of the Templars. I think she might fancy a particular ex-Templar right now, but I don't think she fancied any of the Templars back in Ostwick necessarily. But yeah, I don't think she minded them either.
Templars at Ostwick were even-handed enough. A few were almost friendly.
Commander Cullen will be pleased. For a man no longer with the Order, he takes its faults quite personally.
No doubt.
This place is no bastion of civilization, not like the Circle. I hope you don't find the living conditions in Haven too drastic for someone of your station.
How do you find it?
This can't be what you're accustomed to, Ambassador.
One adjusts. I stay busy. It helps take my mind from our surroundings. And the cold. And the wildlife. And the lack of civilization for miles around. Why anyone lived here before we found Andraste's ashes, I cannot imagine.
Well, they were creepy cultists, so... I'm fine, thank you. At least the isolation's safe. Haven is a freezing dump. No, I don't think she cares that much. She doesn't despise it. I think she's, and like, honestly, since the circles fell, she's probably been in way worse conditions than this. This is probably nice compared to some of the living situations she's had to deal with over the past couple of years, with the rebellion going on and the circles falling. So, that's probably not that big of a deal, so.
Don't worry about me. Haven's more than livable.
Really? If that is how you feel, I'm pleased to hear it.
She's probably...
Until next time, my lady.
Yeah. I would say Nadia has probably spent a fair amount of time in the last couple of years since the circles fell, sleeping on the ground and being cold and wet and hungry. So the fact that she's now, in a place that's relatively comfortable and safe, is and she's no longer having to constantly hide from the crazy Templars who are trying to kill all mages they find. That's probably a pretty big improvement over her recent circumstances. So
things in this world are finite.
So I don't think she's all that concerned about it. The comfort level, maybe if she'd gone directly from the comforts of the Ostwick Circle to Haven, it might feel like a freezing dump by comparison to that. But by comparison to how she's been living more recently, I don't think it's really that big of a deal. Let's go see if Solus has... let's go talk to Solus a little bit. Boop. Solus, my friend. Well, maybe not friend yet. We're still just sort of civil acquaintances, I would say, at this point.
Closing the breach is our primary goal. But I hope we might also discover what was used to create it.
Oh, really?
Any artifact of such power is dangerous. The destruction of the Conclave proves that much.
You think whatever caused it survived?
You don't think whatever created the explosion was destroyed in the blast?
You survived, did you not?
Okay.
The artifact that created the breach is unlike anything seen in this age. I will not believe it destroyed until I see the shattered fragments with my own eyes.
Ah, okay. Well, yeah, okay, I agree. Sure.
We would do well to try to recover whatever created the breach.
Liliana's people have scoured the area near the blast and found nothing. Whatever the artifact was, it is no longer there. In any case, did you need me for anything?
Oh boy, yes. Tell me about yourself.
I'd like to know more about you, Solus.
Why?
I respect you?
You're an apostate, yet you risked your freedom to help the Inquisition.
Well said, Nadia.
Wisest course of action when framed that way.
I appreciate the work you're doing, Solus. I just wanted to know more about you.
I'm sorry. With so much fear in the air. What would you know of me?
Why study the Fade?
What made you start studying the Fade?
I grew up in a village to the north. There was little to interest a young man, especially one gifted with magic. But as I slept, spirits of the Fade showed me glimpses of wonders I had never imagined. I treasured my dreams. Being awake, out of the Fade, became troublesome.
Sounds dangerous.
Did spirits try to tempt you?
No more than a brightly colored fruit is deliberately tempting you to eat it. I learned how to defend myself from more aggressive spirits, and how to interact safely with the rest. I learned how to control my dreams with full consciousness. There was so much I wanted to explore.
And clearly you woke up.
I gather you didn't spend your entire life dreaming.
No. Eventually, I was unable to find new areas in the Fade.
Why?
2 reasons. First, the Fade reflects the world around it. Unless I traveled, I would never find anything new.
Huh.
Second, the Fade reflects and is limited by our imaginations. To find interesting areas, one must be interesting.
Interesting. Is that why you're here?
Is this why you joined the Inquisition?
I joined the Inquisition because we were all in terrible danger.
Okay, fair.
If our enemies destroyed the world, I would have nowhere to lay my head while dreaming of the Fade.
Well, I hope that works.
I wish you luck.
Thank you. In truth, I've enjoyed experiencing more of life to find more of the Fade.
How so?
You train your will to control magic and withstand possession.
Yeah.
Your indomitable focus is an enjoyable side benefit.
Okay.
You have chosen a path whose steps you do not dislike because it leads to a destination you enjoy. As have I.
Alright, that makes sense. Yeah, sure. So where have you studied?
You said you'd traveled to many different places.
This world, or its memory, is reflected in the Fade. Dream in ancient ruins, and you may see a city lost to history. Some of my fondest memories were found in crumbling cities, long picked dry by treasure seekers, the best of the battlefields. Spirits press so tightly on the veil that you can slip across with but a thought.
Which battlefields?
Any place in particular?
I dreamt at Ostagar. I witnessed the brutality of the Darkspawn and the valor of the Ferelden warriors. I saw Alistair and the hero Ferelden light the signal fire, and Logain's infamous betrayal of Kaelin's forces.
Well, then you can tell me what happened, right?
I've heard the stories. It would be interesting to hear what it was really like.
That's just it. In the Fade, I see reflections created by spirits who react to the emotions of the warriors. One moment, I see heroic wardens lighting the fire, and a power-mad villain sneering as he lets King Kaelin fall. The next, I see an army overwhelmed and a veteran commander refusing to let more soldiers die in a lost cause.
Huh.
And you can't tell which is real.
It is the Fade. They are all real.
Okay, so do you work with anyone?
Have you always traveled and studied alone?
Not at all. I have built many lasting friendships. Spirits of wisdom, possessed of ancient knowledge, happy to share what they had seen. Spirits of purpose helped me search. Even wisps, curious and playful, would point out treasures I might have missed.
So you make friends with spirits. Wisdom and purpose, huh?
I don't know of any spirits by those names.
They rarely seek this world. When they do, their natures do not often survive exposure to the people they encounter. Wisdom and purpose are too easily twisted to pride and desire.
Those are demon names.
You're saying that you became friends with pride and desire demons?
They were not demons for me.
Meaning?
The Fade reflects the minds of the living. If you expect a spirit of wisdom to be a pride demon, it will adapt. And if your mind is free of corrupting influences, if you understand the nature of the spirit, they can be fast friends.
Huh. That's amazing.
I'm impressed that you could become friends with spirits.
Anyone who can dream has the potential. Few ever try. My friends comforted me in grief and shared my joy. Yet, because they exist without form, as we understand it, the Chantry declares that spirits are not truly people. Is Cassandra defined by her cheekbones and not her fate? Varric by his chest hair and not his wit?
Huh. Don't spirits lack free will, though?
Spirits are bound by their nature. You said it yourself. They're shaped by contact with real people.
Just as Liliana was shaped by contact with divine Justinian. As those who serve the Inquisition are shaped by you. If I change your mind in this conversation, does that mean you're no more real than a spirit?
You've thought about this.
On occasion, yes.
I feel like he's probably spent a lot of time thinking about that.
We'll talk later.
Goodbye.
Oh, goodness gracious. I did not expect that response to be so forceful, though, Nadia. My goodness. That was quite an argument. Hey.
As I explored the Fade, I felt the presence of an intriguing artifact in the hinterlands.
Oh, yes?
If you are willing, I would like to locate it. I have marked its location as best I could determine.
Okay. Can you tell me about the Fade?
What do you know about the Fade?
A great deal from my wanderings. There are few hard facts, but I can share what I have learned.
Okay, tell me about the breach.
I'd like to know more about the breach.
Simply put, it is a tear in the veil between this world and the Fade, allowing spirits to enter the world physically. Small tears occur naturally when magic weakens the veil, or when spirits cluster at an area that has seen many deaths.
Right.
Your mark allows you to exert some control over the breach. That means it was created deliberately.
That makes sense. Okay. Tell me about the veil.
I'd like to know more about the veil.
Circle mages call it a barrier between this world and the Fade.
Yes.
But according to my studies in ancient elven lore, that is a vast oversimplification. Without it, imagine if spirits entered freely. The Fade was not a place one went, but a state of nature like the wind.
Wow. That sounds pretty strange.
I don't know if I can imagine that.
Try. Imagine if spirits were not a rarity, but a part of our natural world. Like a fast-flowing river. Yes, it can drown careless children, but it can also carry a merchant's goods or grind a miller's flour. That is what the world could be if the veil were not present. For better or worse.
Okay. That's very passionate. He clearly feels very strongly about that. Tell me about demons.
I'd like to know more about demons.
Your circle says that demons hate the natural world and seek to bring their chaos and destruction to the living. But such simplistic labels misconstrue their motivations, and in so doing, do all a great disservice. Spirits wish to join the living, and a demon is that wish gone wrong.
Can we change that?
Is there a way to coexist? To live with them? If not in peace, at least without such active confrontation.
Not in the world we know today. The veil creates a barrier that makes true understanding most unlikely. But the question is a good one, and it matters that you thought to ask.
Well, I'm glad you approve of that anyway.
We'll talk later.
Goodbye.
I mean, I feel like Nadia, Nadia has been taught very specific things about what spirits are and what they are not. I don't know that she necessarily has super strong opinions about it, but, she has a certain view of what these things are, and Solus has some surprisingly unconventional views on such things. Let's go in the tavern and see if we can get a new song.
And you've seen no signs of the Grey Wardens anywhere?
Nope.
You're certain?
Grey Wardens, you said? No.
We're not paying you to be sarcastic.
Have you seen otherwise?
True enough.
Are you still standing there waiting for Flissa to notice you, dude? I don't think she's gonna. Okay, so... we've talked a lot, but there's still a lot more talking to do. I still want to talk to Varric and Cassandra and possibly Liliana and possibly Josephine again, even. So we'll do that. Man, and this is just the first couple of there's so many there's so much stuff to talk about. I love it, but also oh my gosh, it can take a long time to get through all these conversations. So it'll probably be at least one more episode of just talking to people. So as always, if you like what you see, please like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Later.